Hey everybody, I'm John and this is Blind Whiskey Reviews. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. As always, don't forget, if you can, hit that subscribe button down below so you know every time I'm putting out a new video and every time I'm starting a new live stream. Today we'll be reviewing the Few Spritis Rye Whiskey, so I'm excited to do this one for you. And this kind of made me think about a topic, which is I'm going to put a poll up here. Please click the poll, give me your vote. What do you think? Do you prefer, with the resurgence of rye and the rye becoming such a popular spirit these days, is rye your go-to or is bourbon your go-to? What's your favorite? Do you prefer bourbon or do you prefer rye? It's a simple poll. So click up here, click on which one you like the best and let me know. And I think that'd be kind of fun to figure out which of these spirits is more popular among the people that are watching my channel. Anyways, as I always told you I would tell you, full disclosure, this bottle was provided by the distillery, so I'm happy to be doing this review for you. And let's jump back in time and get to it. All right, everybody, let's get into the whiskey. As for the color, we got a pretty bordering on dark amber color here. As for the nose, I mean, up front, there's a real strong, malty character. I don't think that it is, but it almost has like a Scotch-like smell to it. Or at least something that's in Scotch. I got that malt, single malt kind of character. Hiding behind that, there's some sweet dark fruits, some brown sugar. Definitely some vanilla. Maybe a touch of citrus. I'm not smelling really any spice characters, but let's get into the taste. Cheers. Definitely has an interesting flavor. I'm definitely going to have to go back to this one. A little bit thin on the palate, kind of like the low end of medium on the mouthfeel. Proof doesn't feel too high. Slight burn on the tongue. Flavors are lingering, but they're not the flavors that I had when it came over my tongue. I'm left with this malty, slightly sweet character on my palate. Definitely no burn down the chest. Let me give it another taste and see what kind of flavors we can pull out here. So right in the front of the tongue, there's some sweet, lighter fruits. Shortly thereafter, you kind of start picking up in the middle of the palate the brown sugar, the darker characters. I'm trying to see if I can find some wood in here. There's definitely a touch of bitterness on the back end, on the very back of your palate. But I don't taste woody characters per se. Definitely has a sweet nose, and it's not as sweet on the palate, but let me give it one more sip here. I really find this whiskey kind of confusing. And the flavors are kind of all over the place, a little bit disjointed. And I feel like none of the flavors hang around too long, so it's really hard to kind of pick them out because as soon as you start picking them up, they're gone. So, this one's tough. And you're left with this, like I said, this odd kind of malty character on your tongue with a little bit of bitterness. Which, for me, Isn't the greatest flavor. It's not bad, but there's other flavors in there I think I would rather pick up more of than what I'm tasting now. I know I said one more sip. Let me do it one more time. I just got to try to figure out a couple of these flavor notes in here. All right, so working it over the palate a little bit, I was able to pick up a little bit of dark fruit, kind of mid-palate. A touch of a woody note. I'm not so sure how I feel about this yet. Let's throw in a couple drops of water and see if that kind of helps us open up some of these flavors. Well, I didn't exactly get drops, but we'll call that 5. Maybe open up a little bit of the, as usual, open up a little bit of the fruitiness on the nose. Backed that malty character off a bit and brought the fruits up, so that's kind of good. Yeah, it definitely brought forward some of the fruits on the palate, brought down that malty character. You're still left with that malty taste on your tongue after the fact, but definitely while it's on your palate, I like the balance of the flavors a little bit better with the water. Although I will say that I feel like it proofed it down a little bit too much, and it's a little bit weak now. So, I'm kind of at a loss for how I feel about it, what I would do with it. I'm gonna say, I really just don't know how to feel about this one. I don't know if it needs a little airtime to open up, but it's really just kind of all over the place. There's a few good flavors in there, but like I said, you have a hard time picking them up because they just come and go so quickly on the palate. And like I said, you're left with this kind of dominant malty kind of flavor on your tongue. So I don't hate it. I just don't think it's amazing. I'm going to give it a 76. Oh, and I didn't talk about the proof. As far as the proof, I'm going to say this is probably like 85 to 90 in that ballpark. It's definitely not high proof. So let us see what it is. This is the Few Rye Whiskey, distilled from grain, artisan spirit. All right, well, let's go grab that bottle and we'll talk about it a little bit more. All right, everybody, we just finished our review of the Few Spritis Rye Whiskey. This was distilled from grain, artisan spirit, bottled at 46.5% alcohol, which is 93 proof. And I think I said it was 85 to 90 proof, so we were pretty close to the money there. This says it was mashed, fermented, distilled at least one, and aged at least 1 year in charred new oak barrels. So I feel like that's kind of what was holding this whiskey back. I feel like there's some good stuff here, but it wasn't. It was disjointed and it was muddled, and I kind of feel like that was having to do with the likely that this is a younger aged whiskey. Didn't have enough time to sit in that barrel. Didn't have enough time to pick up some of the characters in that barrel. Didn't have time to like marry together as well and become a cohesive whiskey. Like I said, it was just a little bit disjointed. The flavors didn't stick around long. They came, they went. You had a hard time picking stuff up just because of that reason. And I really couldn't even pick up that it was a rye. It didn't have any of the typical rye spicy type characters, the baking spices, the black pepper. There was kind of overwhelmed by that, what I described, and I don't know really what this flavor was, but I described it as a malty character. And after the flavors quickly go over your tongue and dissipate into this kind of bold, malty, bitter character, and that's what you're left with. That's kind of all you think about with this whiskey. So I'm wondering if a little airtime is going to help it open up a touch. So we'll definitely be coming back to this one in a sample review a few months down the road. And I think that'd help a little bit. I'd really love to see what this whiskey tastes like at maybe like a 4 or 5 year age range. I really think it would benefit from some more time in a barrel. And I don't know. That's what I got to say about it. I wish I could give it a better review. I hate knocking spirits that were provided to the channel, but unfortunately, I got to be honest with you guys, and I'm always going to do that. That's kind of the guarantee I give you on this channel. Is we're always going to be honest. So at this point in time, the way this whiskey tastes, and the way it comes over the palate, for me, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but there was nothing great about it. You know, that's why it didn't hit up in the 80-point range. For me, it was in those mid 70s because of those things I described to you before. So if you've had any of the Few Spritis products, they're bourbon, they're rye. I think they've got gin and stuff too, but I don't know the first thing about gin. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you haven't already, click on the icon, the little eye up here in the corner. Vote. Do you like bourbon? Do you like rye? Which is your favorite spirit? And as always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can get me on blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com. That's whiskey with an E. And until next time, cheers.